That's a very good question. We're not prepared. Why is it important? It always has been important. Today,
I would say, yeah, today is more important than ever.
we had that conversation in the past that somehow we end up in a situation where Eastern men would look up to the Western world, thinking how great the Western world is and how free it is and how much freedom and success you can have without understanding the complexity of it. And the Eastern traditional way of doing things seems to be the right way. And now we as people who grew up in an environment which was very rough, it was a lot street-wise, but it wasn't, so we are street smart, let's put it that way, and that gives you a lot more exposure and you build yourself up through those adversities and challenges. And today, anywhere I go, even in the school, you don't get to see that. So even the small thing like PE, you would, I've got sons, they would have once a week PE for 1 hour, and they would just not do almost anything. If he hits his knee, I'll get a call. Go and collect him because he hits his knee. So there's no tumble and rough play, which would, for a man, would build his resilience through a small fall, through someone kicking him on the foot, or a little bit of.
The way we grew up, I was actually having this conversation with my brothers that most of the time, now I'm not advocating that, but we were acting like we have 10 lives. That wouldn't be a worry of us, like we would do some crazy stuff, like the way we grew up in the trees and in...
So the challenges today are missing. The diversity is missing. Men are coddled. Boys, I can't say men, because to get to that stage of life, you go through different stages, but the boys today, they're coddled. The school system, especially the school system, is geared towards women. Men are made to sit in class for hours and they don't function the same way women function. So they have to sit there, be quiet and focus. It's not normal for a man. Man needs to really explore, to use his energy, and they end up, I'll say, I don't know, they end up like women, but a lot more feminine, leaning on their softer side. There's no father figures, there's no male role models. We got some, which I don't think they are the right role models. There are few people who do, and we know some of them, and they do make an effort to have that positive impact. But mainly the short attention span triggers people who would lean towards both extremes, either too emotional or either too hedonistic, which I don't think is anything masculine in it. You succeeding and getting the thing, it's not going to make you happy.
And I am unfortunately
joyful
I think the real man, there are still a few, but those ones you don't find them online. And it's a matter of the only people they know them in real life benefits from it, but then anyone else, they don't, because on social media it's just like you said, people are shouting.
Isn't it? But that's the interesting part now, what we're doing. It's the same thing. But one of the conversations was, I, for example, didn't want to do it for many years because of exactly that reason. You don't want to go be another person shouting in the camera. That's one of the reasons I looked at it and thought, but then you see bad players on social media and they keep repeating the same talking points. I read evolutionary psychology, I read a lot of that, but then it can be interpreted through different lens. But I have the experience as well being a father, not just having children, just being a father, being a parent. So there's a lot of different perspective when you talk about masculinity. Masculinity to me is being able to take responsibility, being accountable, keeping your word, integrity part of masculinity. It's not just going to the gym. It's not being able to fight someone, at least. I don't see it as
I said, I'm in the fighting scene, and I would argue 80%, 90% of them, apart from the fact that they know how to fight, they have nothing masculine in them.
They would avoid accountability.
Yeah.
And that's
Lying,
part of the,
cheating. Yeah, you can go down the road.
The red pill community will argue about that. It's like cheating, they don't see it that way. Because a man wants to spread his seed, but isn't, again, back to that,
example.
what is a discipline?
So,
what is a
example.
discipline?
So they say they want. What is discipline exactly?
You want to be disciplined of succeeding in business, going to the gym and training and being disciplined, but then you can't be disciplined keeping in your pants. I don't get it. Don't get, if you want, you can have 2, 3, 5 wives, but if we go back to Islam, to have a second wife, you need to be able to satisfy the first wife. You don't just get a second wife because you want to have a second wife. You need to be able to satisfy the needs of your family, taking care of them. You don't just get another person. So a lot of the people will look at it and say, yeah, but Islam is, it doesn't matter what religion you would support. To be able to take care of your family, you need to possess specific qualities, certain qualities. So then you get another wife because you're really good at body, people earn enough, you're taking care of your family, taking care of your children and whatnot. It's not just you're Muslim and you have 5 wives. And here, on the other side, on the other part of the aisle, how we do it? We say, okay, you can have what we were talking about? Polyamory. I like to be, I don't want to name names, which are friends of Andrew Tate, but I like to be with many women. But what about the example you're setting up in your family? You're going to have a daughter. Well, I don't think that's a good option. If I have a daughter, I don't think that's a good option, is it?
I would like to sit down with them and ask them this question.
I think he answered it before. I don't think he cares.